Again, this is so that we can share this information with those that are not able to attend. During our Zoom functions, we do have our chat and Q&A that you're welcome to type away your questions, your comments, and we will be addressing those towards the end of our presentation today. We also have reactions, so you're welcome to utilize those if there's information that really captivated your interest. In terms of our audio, we do ask for all of our guests today, if you can please turn off your audio, mute, and also your cameras. Again, this is just to avoid distractions with our guest speakers for today, and that we can all listen to the information clearly as possible. Again, our Q&A sessions will be held towards the end of our presentations for today. Again, we hope that we can answer your questions. If not, we'll do our best to refer you to the information that you are seeking and in need of. So now let's get started with our campus partners from Basic Needs. We have with us today Liz, who is our CalFresh Outreach Coordinator. She will be providing the presentation and really guiding us through the steps in being able to utilize the service here at Long Beach State. So let's welcome Liz, our speaker for today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Amy and Rachel, for having me here. So I hope that within the next 30 minutes, 45 minutes, y'all can learn more about my department. So Basic Needs is a department that is usually in all Cal States, all UCs now, and it's an umbrella that hosts a lot of different programs. So for the next 30 minutes, we will be discussing those programs. And like Amy just introduced me, my name is Liz Martinez. I use pronouns she, her, ella, and I am the CalFresh Outreach Coordinator. So for CalFresh, we are under the Department of Basic Needs. And I also have here Ty Banks. Her pronouns are she, her, hers. And she is the CalFresh Outreach Specialist. She is on standby now, but if y'all have any questions, feel free to add them in the chat. And then, like Amy said, we will be addressing them at the end. So a question that we often ask our students when we are providing them with this presentation is, what is a life skill that they hope to gain during college? So it varies within the students depending on who they are, the demographics, where they grew up. A lot of them want to learn more about time management. A lot of them want to increase their social skills. We have some students who want to be better at budgeting, learn how to cook. So we have a different range of answers when it comes to our students. So as parents or family members, I want to pose the same question. And what is a life skill that you hope your students gain during college? Keep that in the back of your head. If we can go to the next question. And something that we see with our students is that a lot of our students don't answer in the basic needs answer. So for example, when we ask them if they know what basic needs are, it's not something that comes to mind right away, or it's not something that they hope, it's not a skill that they hope to gain throughout their college career, because it's not something that they're thinking will happen to them. So if we go to the next slide, please. When we ask students what are basic needs, there's also a range of answers. So some of them know that it's like healthy food, shelter, clean drinking water, sanitation, education, healthcare, public transportation, mental well-being. And we focus on these in the department because we know that without access to these things, then a student won't be able to focus on their academic achievements. So for example, if they don't know when their next meal will be, then they're not going to be focusing on studying for a specific exam or studying for a specific project. So as a university, you want to ensure that the students' basic needs are met, so that they're able to focus on their social and educational aspect that they may have answered in the previous questions. Because without these, access to these specific items, then they won't be able to succeed as a college student. And something shocking that we have seen in all the universities across California, I'm going to be specifically focusing on Cal State Long Beach and CSUs as a whole. This is a study that we did actually within the last 2 years. that is 1 in 5 CSULB Long Beach students have experienced food insecurity. And then we have about 41% of all CSU students experience food insecurity. So that's almost 50% of students in all the call-state systems. So what all call-states and UCs now are doing is having or improving this basic needs departments to ensure that these numbers do decrease. Another study that we did here, or that we've done that is not reflected in these demographics, is that about 90% of our students have said that their diet has changed within the past year since they entered university. So whether that's they eat less now, or on the alternate version, they eat more than they used to prior to starting college. So what our department does is ensuring that they have healthy diet and also that they are accessing these meals affordably and in a well manner. So a little bit about what our department does. It assists and serves students who have been displaced, who have experienced homelessness or some form of insecurity when it comes to housing, when they're facing a crisis. And we work with a lot of other departments that will also better support us, our students, like mental health providers, the county, specifically with Call Fresh, we do work with the LA and Orange County. And then we provide the resources to remove these additional barriers because we don't want our students to be worrying about their next meal or about whether they're going to have a place to sleep tomorrow. So we want to ensure that these needs get addressed for them instead of like them having to worry about it themselves. So like I mentioned before, we are the basic needs department. It's an umbrella of these individual programs. So we support students with fighting food insecurity. We also provide financial support. We assist students with displacement, like housing displacement, and we are always here to give them support. We have 2 case managers that are available Monday through Friday. So usually our students will either be directed to one case manager or the other one. So whenever they make a referral, they're actually talking to a real person, and this case manager has like a check-in process. So even let's say they needed an apartment for 1 week, the case manager after the week will still check in with them constantly to ensure that they don't need housing again. So we do manage students on a daily basis and then again follow up with them. And then again, we have the umbrella of housing assistance where we offer students short-term emergency housing and then rapid rehousing. And then we have financial assistance where we offer students emergency grants and medical grants. And then food assistance, which is where I fall in under Call Fresh. And we have various programs under this food assistance umbrella. So it's ASI Beach Pantry, Beach Bites app, Call Fresh, and Meals on ID card. And we'll be talking about all these on the next few slides. So for housing assistance, we have 2 options. So short-term emergency housing is the first one. So when we think about short-term emergency housing is, let's say that like a scenario as a student, we actually had this just happen recently, found bed bugs in their room and their mattress. So the landlord asked the student to go away for a few weeks so that they can clean the whole apartment. So it's something that students not thinking will happen to them, right? It's not maybe like the student doesn't need permanent rehousing. They just need a rehousing for those 2 weeks. Parent lived in another county, so they couldn't go back and forth from school because the student didn't have a car. So what Basic Needs did is they found them temporary housing in the dorms for 2 to 3 weeks. So this is something that students can services students can use when it's something that, or when they need the housing that it's only going to take this minimum amount of time. As opposed to rapid rehousing, we pair the student with an organization outside if the student is facing long-term housing insecurity. So maybe they live in an abusive household, or maybe they're back up rent a few months and the student needs to vacate their apartment for a full term or for several months. Then we partner them with another organization outside of campus that still resides in Long Beach, so that they can be provided with like long-term housing. And usually how these organizations work is the organization begins paying the first few months, but then over time, once the student gets a job or gets more financial security, then they will begin on and paying the lease. So it's almost like an exchange where little by little, the student will take over the lease. But for the first few months or weeks, the organization will support the student financially. And then we have financial assistance. So we have two different type of grants. The emergency grant is for students in an unforeseen situation. So whether this is like um, they steal the laptop from the student, and this is the laptop that they use for class. So now the student has trouble, completing their assignments, finishing a test. So what we provide with the student is with an emergency grant, they don't have to repay back for up to $1,500, where the student can buy a new laptop or any technology that they may need so that they can support their academic success. Another scenario can be the student has a car accident, so now they have to pay the deductible, and that's $500 that they don't have. Basic needs will provide them with up to $1,500 so that they can pay that deductible. We just need to make sure that the student has exhausted all other financial aid. So there will be like a vetting process, but it's pretty easy for the student to qualify for that. On the other hand, we have emergency medical grants. So this is more like in the medical capacity. So let's say that the student got in a car accident and now they need to get x-rays and they don't have insurance. So again, we help the student with up to $1,500 for them to get like x-rays, can be dental work as well. So again, this is like financial assistance that maybe the student, if they have to purchase it themselves, then they will be worrying about this or working more time and studying less or going to classes less. And we wanna make sure that that doesn't happen. And then under meal assistance, we have several programs. So the first one is emergency meal plan. So this is meal swipes added to the student ID card. And these are the same swipes that can be added to that the students get for dining commons by the dorms. So let's say the student maybe overused their meal swipes in the beginning, or they're new to college, they weren't calculating the swipes well, and now they're down to 10 swipes for the next 3 weeks. So we can support them with adding more meal swipes depending on like how much they need and everything. For the second type of meal assistance will be the ASI Beach Pantry. And the Beach Pantry is actually located right in front of our office, completely different departments, but we work together to ensure that we have food security for our students. So it's free to all CSULB students. They check in with their student ID. They can visit 3 times a week. They're allowed 5 items each week, but veggies and fruit don't count as an item. So at the end of the day, they can always leave with more than 5 items because again, fruit and veggies don't count as an item. Sometimes we get like large pallets of drinks or specific snacks that they're up for grabs. So if we get a large pallet of like poppies, like different water bottles or things like that, then the student can grab more than one without adding the point. So we do have that available for students. It's like the mini groceries. And again, depending on the season of the semester, there will be more items on specific foods and snacks as compared to other seasons in the semester. Then the third assistance that we have when it comes to meals It's called Beach Bites. So this is something that we encourage students to download. A lot of the students already have the Costly Long Beach app, but if they don't, make sure to remind them, because under this application, we have two different channels. The first one is called Beach Bites. So this is run through Basic Needs Office as well. So whenever a department or a program has leftover food, it gets promoted through Beach Bites, and it sends a notification and a text message to all students that there's free food in X location, or there's free coffee in X location. And there's always leftover food because CSU Long Beach has a lot of departments and a lot of events. So it's something that we encourage students to download. Just last week or 2 weeks ago, we had like free barbecue chicken left over for students and staff. So it's something that we ask students to download. Additionally, under another channel on the CSULB app is the roommate channel. So if your student still hasn't found a roommate, or maybe when they move out next school year, if you know they will be living out of the dorms and into an apartment, and they want to ensure that the person they're living with is like a safe person, a CSULB student, make sure to encourage them to follow the roommate channel, because it's only for students, and other students find each other there. And then there's like a little description of like the student and what they like and what they're looking for in a roommate. So it's a good way for students to connect with each other in terms of like roommates. Now the fourth assistance will be coverage program, and this is where I fall under, and this is the department that I work with. So if you have questions in regards to this, basically here, so you feel free to ask me at towards the end. What coverage is essentially a government-funded food program. So think about it like a debit card, but only for groceries. And although it's intended for lower income individuals and families, students have a lower eligibility cap. So more students are eligible to apply to coverage as opposed to someone who's not attending university. And again, this is something that they can use in a lot of locations, Costco, Target, and the student will qualify for up to $281 a month. So this is like some items that we show students just so that they're more aware of what they can buy. So anything that has to do with bread, meats, dairy products, fruits and veggies. So anything that's groceries, but they cannot buy like hot meals. So no hot meals, no liquor, no vitamins or like soap or anything like that. And again, they can use this in a lot of locations. So it doesn't only have to be groceries. It can be like 7-Eleven, Dollar Tree, because they do sell food there. Even some online locations like Instacart. So if they order like, let's say fruit at Instacart, they can get it delivered for free. And then some farmers market as well, they do take it. So just ensure that there's like a little sticker with the little EBT card, and then you'll know, the student will know that that store, that farmers market takes EBT. So here are the student eligibility, and it honestly varies with student because even though here are the baselines eligibility, there's special scenarios for different students. So we always encourage students to make an appointment with our student assisters, who will basically review every set of questions, every verification form. Overall, mostly the student is, there's like an age gap between 18 to 49. So if their student is still 17, they would just have to wait a few months until they turn 18. They must be enrolled in 6 units or more, which that's usually that's at the cap of when they get financial aid. So that's usually something that they already qualify for. They must beat a household size monthly gross income. But if the student is, let's say, they're under 22 and they're living in the dorms and they have the lowest meal plan, then they will count as independent. So then we will be looking at the student's individual income, which will most likely be 0 and will most likely qualify for EBT. As opposed as if the student is under 22 and is living with parents, then we will look at the whole family's income, which they can still qualify, but it might be a little bit more difficult. And then they must meet one of the following requirements. So if the student gets Call Grant A or B, if they work at least 20 hours a week, if they are awarded federal or state work study, then they will qualify. Something very important is that a lot of our students are enrolled in LPIE. If you go to the next page, please, Amy. Here are the approved LPIEs. So if they're under these majors, they will also qualify. And there's a lot of majors that it shifts during the with each academic year. So again, we highly encourage your students to make an appointment with our student assister so that we can ensure that they meet all the qualifications. But like EOP is a huge one. If they have any internship that they have to do, like nursing, psychology, it will most likely also qualify. These are the documents that they have to prepare. This is when they have already been pre-eligible, and then they have to just apply. So we do ask them for a proof of class schedule, proof of ID, income verification, and this can all be screenshots from like their the financial aid office, their schedule application that CSULB uses. If they're an LPI student or they are part of the previous majors that I just showed, they just need like a screenshot from their major department. So it's fairly easy. But first they'll go through the pre-eligibility process with our students, and then our students will let them know what other documents they need to prepare. We also have an educational side of Call Fresh, and that's called Call Fresh Healthy Living, where we teach students how to have healthy habits, but also how to budget their food and how to ensure that they're spending on healthy meals. So we use the ASI kitchen that is next to the bookstore. This is where this department, Healthy Living, hosts this weekly events where a lot of them include like knife skills, meal prep. Like during Thanksgiving, they have a whole preparation of how to make a Thanksgiving meal and Thanksgiving dessert. They have competitions. So if your student likes all these Master Chef shows, we do have a Master Chef competition at the end of each semester, and then each student, the winner or the person who cooks the best, will win either last year I believe was like NutriBullets and like gift cards to Target. So this is a program that we encourage students to attend if they want to learn how to cook more or use like knives, especially if they will be living out of the dorms next year, or if they are living out of the dorms this year. It's a good skill to have. So I am part of the coverage outreach team, and under my supervision, the students that work for this team do the following. So they do, like I said before, eligibility pre-screening. So again, verify that each student is meeting the qualification to benefit from coverage EBT. They also do county interview preparations because the student that is applying to coverage does get an interview with the county. It's nothing scary, but I know some students get a little nervous. So our own students prepare the students applying for coverage. They do a resubmission every 6 months. Our students, again, also ensure that the student files everything correctly so that they don't miss out on any future benefits. We are also always tabling. We make amazing partnerships like we are here right now. We also work with other departments like EOP, financial aid, CAPS. So your student will definitely see us around often. And we're in a huge tent that says basic needs, and we're always wearing like purple or green or gray. So they won't miss us. So how to make appointments. So if you want to take a screenshot or a picture of this QR codes, towards the end, I will also navigate the website so that y'all can see better. But this is a little bit of our information. Our email is here. It's a little blurry, but I can put it on the chat once we are done. It's called Supporting Students at CSULB.edu. And again, it's an actual person, either the director or myself will be checking this email constantly. Our phone number is 562-985-2038. We are open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we are located right in front of the pantry, next to the pool tables. I'm sure your student will know where it is. USU is very popular for students. So yeah, we are on the first floor of the USU, and then our case managers are at the library. So they are there, and then my email is here as well if you have any additional questions. Thank you so much again. I'm going to share my screen so I can help you all navigate the website, just so you can get an idea of what your students are seeing. But then at the end, I will take questions. Okay. So if you go on Google, and then again, I can share that this site right now. CLUB basic needs. If you type that, it will be the first thing you see. I'll share this in the chat. So this is our basic needs side. You get a little bit of what I just shared with you right now, a little bit of a summary of what we are as a department. And then right here, you will see, about us, history, services, coffresh, beach pantry, beach bites. If you click on the basic needs services and application, you'll get this side, and then your student can apply for housing, emergency grants, emergency medical grants here. You will click submit a basic needs application today, and then the student will input their name, their email address, so all of their information, what services they're looking for assistance in. So they can put here short-term emergency housing, give a brief summary of what their situation is. And then they complete all these questions. These are all required, so I won't let them submit unless they complete the whole application. And then this is good because then our case managers also see maybe the student applied for housing, but maybe the student needs housing and food as well. But the student maybe is focusing on housing at this moment. But with these applications, our case managers are able to see that they need additional resources. So it allows us to keep tabs on the student, ensure that they're getting all their basic needs met. And like I said before, our case manager does meet with them after they submitted this form, this application. So the student can choose whether to meet with the case manager virtually or in person. So it's very easy, and then they do ask for a copy of like proof that they have been displaced, that the landlord is letting go of their lease, or anything like that. They can attach it here. And then at the end, they just submit, and then it lets them keep a copy. So it's very easy. So this is more in the basic needs side. That's the beginning that we talked about housing and emergency grants. Now, if they want to make an appointment for Call Fresh, they will, this is like the basic need, the beginning of the site, and then they will click Beach Call Fresh Outreach. And then they can actually do their own pre-screening, Call Fresh pre-screen, and then it will let them know if they're eligible for Call Fresh. So it's a very basic questions. Are you a CSULB student? Are you a US citizen? And these are all questions that the students will ask as well. So if maybe they can do it by themselves and they can do it via here, but if they do want the additional support, I'll let you know right now how you can also meet with the student. So do you live with at least one parent, or maybe you're living at the dorms? So you put no. Do you live on campus? Yes. And then again, you have to have the 10-meal plan in order to qualify for Call Fresh. And if you don't qualify, the site will tell you. But again, if maybe there was some questions that you were nervous about or not so sure, we do encourage you to still make an appointment with our student assisters. So here's like for household of one, because you're living at the dorms and you are technically considered independent once you're not living with parents anymore. And then it says you meet the income requirement, you also meet the college requirement. So it's like basically taking you step by step, and then it's giving you feedback on how it's looking. So were you awarded Call Grant A or B? And let's say you don't know if you were. So you put maybe, how do I check? And then it gives you a link that will tell you how. So if you go into the link, it gives you like a little video of how to access Call Grant A or B to see. It's usually through the financial aid portal, but let's say your student didn't know, then you'd be able to like access how to figure it out. Let's say you put yes. Do you work consistently or at least 20 hours a week? Yes. Okay, and at the end, once you answer all the questions, it tells you you're likely eligible for Call Fresh, and then they always ask you to keep a note, so just so that you know why you qualify for Call Fresh. And then it asks you to check out the reasons that you qualify, so make sure to take a note when it tells you. And then at the end, it tells you what would you like to do. So you can either even make an appointment right here. I would like to apply independently, or if you're still maybe need some time to think about it. Let's say you would like to make an appointment with a student assister, and then it gives you the link. Here's where you make the appointment. So again, it's like very concise steps that will ensure that the student is completing it properly. And again, this is if the student wants to check their pre-eligibility by themselves. Let's say the student really would like support from the student assisters, then they will say, schedule your appointment here today. So that's where the student will click. And then again, you can do a pre-screen, you can do a general information. If you already know you qualify, if you completed the previous survey first, and it says, yes, you will most likely qualify for Call Fresh, then the student will click application appointment. And that's where the one of our student assisters will walk them through the application. And here they can, make an appointment. They can choose someone. They can choose the availability, and then their name, email, student ID, and then they book it. So it's very, very easy. And they can do this online, or they can do this virtually as a walk-in as well. So again, I posted the link on the chat if you want to save it, but a student is always welcome to check our office and make an appointment like in person. So it's a very easy process, but I will be taking any questions now. I know it was a lot of information, but luckily this info session was recorded. So if you need to look back to any of the information that I said, feel free to look over. And again, I have provided email and the presentation, so I'm always here open for questions.
Thank you so much for providing such a wonderful and thorough presentation to our parents, guardians, and supporters. At this point, we will be taking questions. If you are interested in asking a question, you can unmute yourself or use our Q&A function as shown within the legend of the Zoom chat features. So we'll wait a couple of seconds to see if any of our participants today have any questions. We have the experts here, so any questions that you have in mind, this would be a great opportunity to really dive into those questions that you may have or concerns. If we don't have any questions, it seems like everyone here is an expert on basic needs. So just making sure that we don't have any questions or comments. I guess one of the questions that we do have here is, what is the best way that students can reach you? Is it through email or through the website or through phone call?
I would say through phone call if it's urgent. We do have a student that is always in the front answering questions. But let's say it is after hours, then email will be the best. And then I can put the email that we use. I provided my personal professional email, but there is an actual contact information. It was on the last slide, but let me share it here on the chat. It's supporting students at CSULB.edu. So that's the one that will go directly.
So we are sharing on the screen at this moment the hours, the location, and also the email. So if you'd like to take a screenshot, and then our friend Liz also shared with us the email on the chat if you would like to see that as well. If we can have Rachel ask a question or share, I think I saw your hand raised.
Yeah, I did have a question, actually. This is also information we present to all of our students at new student orientation. So even if you didn't remember all of this incredible information, your students are going to hear it again. I had a question for Liz, though. You mentioned that if they live in the dorms, they're still considered independent from their parents. In terms of checking financial eligibility, do they ever check whether or not parents are paying for that housing, or are they just across the board considered independent?
So if they are living in a dorm, they're considered independent. But let's say
Okay.
they're living off campus and the student pays their own rent, but the parent supports with, like, let's say $300 a month, it will count as income. So we will need the parents to write a letter stating that they contribute to the student income for $300 a month or X amount. So we are going to be asking proof for that. And again, this is something that it's a very specific scenarios that our student assisters are also ensuring that we have other documents. But yes, mainly off campus that.
Great question, and thank you for answering that, Liz. Again, we are here to support you, your student, their transition here to Long Beach State. This is another amazing resource that we can discuss with our students at home or where we find ourselves connecting with them, and just truly communicating that these services are offered to them as an extension of being here at Long Beach State. With that, I don't see any other questions. You are more than welcome to reach out to Liz and her team. They're very supportive, very responsive, and they look forward to answering any of your questions or concerns. Or if you have a personal question that you would like to ask, then this is the opportunity for you to really reach out and connect with them. We want to thank Liz and the team for being a part of our virtual Fireside Chat PFO. Thank you for being here, your time and your presence, and also providing this wonderful and thorough presentation of the services offered at Basic Needs. If you're interested in staying connected and learning more about the different types of resources on campus, feel free to reach out to our parent and family programs. We are here to provide that support. You can connect with us through phone, email, and also through our website. We're open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5, and we're here to answer any questions and hopefully direct you in the course that you're looking for or the type of resources that you're seeking. So moving forward with our parent and family programs, we do have virtual fireside chats in the month of July and August. You're welcome to attend these. We have laid out the different types of topics. So for the month of July, we have our Beach Transfer Transition Center. We also have our Career Development Center. In August, we have our 49er shops. And then we also have our parking and transportation services. These are free, just like today, where you join and you learn more about the resources on campus. And hopefully you are continuing to have that discussion with your student regarding these services and how best they can access them. Stay connected with us. We want to continue seeing you here at our virtual PFO Fireside Chats. So we have our QR codes for our parent and family orientations. That's a different type of programming that we offer to parents, family members, supporters, and guardians. It's an all-day in-person type of orientation. You're welcome to register for that. We do have our sessions in August. Those will be our last sessions for the summer. Our virtual PFO fireside chats, which we just discussed in the slides previously, of the different topics that we have for the month of July and August. And stay connected with us with our online platforms here with the Beach Family Portal. You'll be able to access different types of information, blog posts, resources, shout outs, things of that sort. So stay connected with us. We would love to hear from you. And again, thank you so much for joining us on this Friday. We hope that you have a wonderful weekend, 4th of July, and a safe celebration during this time. Again, thank you so much for your time. We would like to thank our campus partners at Basic Needs, Liz and Ty. Thank you for being here. And on behalf of our parent and family programs, welcome to the Beach family. Go Beach and have a lovely rest of your weekend. Thank you, everyone.